Hasim told me he was grinding today. And I said, really? I said, what time did you get to work? And he said, 9. So he needed, it's the last week we get to do this, right? So thought I'd throw some stones his way. Appreciate you guys coming as always. Same routine. We'll just review the game a little bit, talk about our next opponent. Went through and watched the game on Sunday. Obviously, I was disappointed in the game result on Saturday after the game, and didn't feel any better yesterday watching it. We didn't play very good, and that's on me. We didn't coach good. We didn't play good, and as a head coach, I take ownership in that, and we didn't do what needed to do. And win or lose, just disappointed in how we lost. Started the game off poor. We went to penalty on the opening kickoff. Penalty on a critical third down situation, got a defensive stop and fumbled the punt, and then it was a touchdown. And then we had a mental error on a coverage on the next drive, another touchdown. And before we could even blink, we're really down 14-0. But as always, we evaluated the film, looked at the goods and the bads. We learned from it. We move on and apply the lessons that we learned to next week and keep trying to get better. From an injury standpoint, we came out of the game fairly healthy, just minor bumps and bruises, typical things that you get in a game, especially at this time of the year. As we head forward here this next week, it's senior week, and that's our focus. We have a great group of young men that are going to play their last football here at home. They've gone through a lot here. They've given a lot to the university and to the program. They've gone through a lot during their tenure here, and it's our responsibility to do everything we can to hopefully give these guys one last opportunity to celebrate together with their team and here in our stadium. Michigan State is a very good team. They've done a great job this year. They've got good players, good coaches, playing with a lot of confidence right now. They play good defense, play good special teams. They run the ball well on offense. It's a very good formula for success, and they've been able to do it this year and get back on track to the way Michigan State's been playing for quite some time. So it's going to be a huge challenge, huge test, and another great opportunity for us to go out and finish. But it's about the seniors this week. We're still trying to get another Big Ten win. If we were to win this game, that'd be 4 Big Ten wins. Hasn't happened since Rutgers has been in the Big Ten. Looking to build positive momentum going into the offseason, which is huge also. So there's a lot on the line, a lot at stake, and a lot to play for here this week. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions.
I think I asked you after the game about the effort or whether they played hard. Could you tell that on film?
You can always tell on film. This is the way I operate. When we win games, coaches and players, assistant coaches and players did a great job. When we lose games, I did a bad job, and that's it. I did a bad job, didn't have the team ready, and that's my evaluation of watching the film.
Lewis, does his role change at all after what you saw on tape last week?
No, the quarterback situation's the same. The last couple weeks, we have had conversations about the quarterback position a lot. We'll go through the week and evaluate it, and we'll play the person that gives us the best chance to win this next Saturday. And if that's Jonathan, great. If it's Gio, someone else, or whatever. But we'll manage that through the week, evaluate that through the week, and make a decision later on who gives us the best chance to go out and play our best game.
Does that mean it's game time? Would you characterize it as game time? Would you?
No. We'll make a decision. Before that. That's what's right for the team. But we're not going to make a decision today on Monday. We got to go through some practices and we got to look at what we need to do against Michigan State, who's a very good defense, and see who gives us the best chance to win.
Chris, you mentioned this a little bit, but is it important, just momentum-wise, coming off these 2 losses, to have a better performance heading into the offseason?
Oh, absolutely. It's a big deal. Anytime your last game is a positive game, as you go into whether it's like it will be for us, the last game of the regular season, the bowl game. You go to a bowl game, you want to win that bowl game. If you lose it, you go into the offseason with a negative feeling. Anytime you can play your last game and it's a positive feeling, you've played your best football going into off-season workouts and everything. It's a momentum boost. It's an attitude boost, and it excites people for the future.
Coach, obviously you've only been here 2 years, but can you talk about what some of the seniors, the guys been here 4 and 5 years, we play in the last game here, in the last game of the season, what they've meant to you in terms of your transition as a head coach and what they've meant to this program?
Yeah, obviously the biggest impact they've made is this year. coming off of 2016, the first year, we were changing a lot, going through a lot of transition, a lot of things that we had to get right off the field before we could do things on the field. And these guys have just been rock solid. They've believed in our vision when others haven't. They've stayed the course when others, have told them they shouldn't. They believe in our plan and our process, and because of that, we've continued to develop our culture. It's become stronger. Our brotherhood and the product that we've put on the field has gotten a lot better, and it's because of the senior class. If you're going to have success, I don't care if it's this year, next year, any program, you need your seniors, your upperclassmen to play their best football, and we had a lot of seniors do that this year, and it's because of the way that they've been committed really since the end of last season, and they've done a lot for us. They're going to leave this program, whether we win or lose on Saturday, on a positive note, because we've done some things this year that a lot of people didn't think we could.
Is it particularly special, the dedication that they gave to this, considering those are guys you didn't recruit, obviously?
Yeah, I don't care whether I recruited them or not. They're my guys, and that's the way I look at it. Some of them, I don't know if anyone's had 3 different coaches, since they've been here. I know that a lot of them have 2. Obviously, but they're when I come in, we came in, they're our guys, they're my guys, and that's the way I look at it. And again, I don't care who recruited them or who they committed to. We're going to do everything we can to send them off the right way.
Chris, how do you balance your answer to what Politi asked about, the momentum and trying to get a win with the idea that you could play some of the younger guys like you did? I think Fogg played a lot. I'm not just talking about Jonathan Lewis.
Yeah, we're not worried about that. We're worried about a very good Michigan State team. I'm not worried about who gets in, who gets reps, and who plays. It's all about we need to go play our best game, and we need to try to beat a very good Michigan State team. That's it. That does more for your future than getting somebody a few reps here or there. And we know what we have in our younger players. They have played enough, whether it be on offense, defense, or special teams. We have a really good idea of what they can do. If they give us the best chance to go play our best game against a good football team, then they'll play. If they don't, they won't, and that's where we're at. And we have an obligation and responsibility to make sure that our seniors have a chance to finish their career on a positive note, and we're going to put the players that we feel give us the best chance to do that on the field on Saturday.
Now the season's winding down, what's kind of your approach to guys who might be considering leaving a year early, going to the NFL draft? What kind of approach do you take to deal with that?
We're not having those conversations right now. Our focus is on Michigan State. That's where it needs to be. If people are worried about what they're going to do after the Michigan State game, we have no chance to win the game. I'm not focused on that. We've got our calendar set. We know what we're going to do in the offseason, all that stuff, what we're doing in recruiting. But as a coach and as a player, our focus has to be on our preparation, our practices, and doing our job as good as we can for Michigan State. All the other stuff, we'll worry about that when the season's over.
What about along the offensive line? I know you made a couple changes during the game. Jackson for Applefield. Any changes along the offensive line?
Not at this moment. A lot of things that happen in a game for potential injury reasons, or Jonah's back. He was a starter. I'd like to see him get some reps. That's a guy that needs some reps to get back in there. So there's different reasons on why that happened. Doesn't mean there's going to be a change in the lineup for next week.
I like Janarian obviously hasn't had the senior year that he wanted. What do you, when you look back at his year, how do you sum that up? And then do you expect him to get on the field this Saturday?
He's still day to day. For him to play Saturday would probably be a game time decision. But we knew it was going to be a potential struggle for Janarian. He had a very serious injury. He's a skilled athlete, and he had an injury in a tough spot for a skilled athlete. It wasn't like it was a shoulder. That was an ankle, and with him returning the ball a lot and potentially needing to run a lot, he's going to get tackled a lot. And every time he got tackled, especially low around the ankle, you worried about it. And it's come up. It's hurt us, and it's hurt him. When I say hurt him from having the type of senior year that he wanted and we all wanted, and something we knew we were going to potentially have to manage.
You look at other programs around the Big Ten and how they have built themselves into what they are, and you see what Michigan State has done, constructing its identity. I mean, are there things about that program that you'd like to be able to model here in some ways?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you want to have your own identity, but it's like the things I just mentioned about Michigan State. What do they do? What are they known for? And they're not the only ones. You know, Wisconsin's this way. You know, Michigan's this way. Ohio State's this way. First and foremost, what do those teams do? They play really good defense. You know, to be able to win. Again, as I talk about it all the time up on our plan to win, you got to be able to play really good defense to be able to consistently win. You know, in this league. From there, you got to play good special teams also. And when you look at the top teams in this league, that's what they have: good defenses, good special teams, and then the third part of it is you got to be able to run the ball. And if you can do those three things, it means you can control the line of scrimmage up front on both sides. You're changing field position with special teams, and you know we've done that at times this year. We haven't done it consistently enough, and we definitely haven't done it against the top teams in this league yet. But that's really what we want to do. Now, how we do that, that's different. That's, you know, you can do it with different personnel groupings, different sets, quarterback run, tailback runs, all that stuff, and different fronts defensively. But at the end of the day, if we can play great defense, play great special teams, and we can run the football, you're going to have a chance to win games.
Ross Douglas has talked a lot about how he wants to become a coach when his football career ends on the field. What kind of
I don't
future
know
do you
why
think he has
wants to
doing
do
that?
You know,
What
crazy.
advice do you have, and what kind of future?
My
do you
advice:
think he
don't
has?
do it. You know, don't do it. Yeah, job security. Go right ahead. You want a great job security. Go be a coach. But I love Ross. You know, Ross is a very intelligent kid. Loves the game of football. Really proud that you know he made the decision to come here and the effort that he puts forth every single day. I'm happy for him. He's made a ton of progress since he's been here. He's made a significant contribution to our football team this year. I think he'll be an outstanding coach if that's what he wants to do. I know that's, you know, he and I have had those conversations. You know, he's going to test the water a little bit here in the spring with that. But yeah, my advice is not to do it. But you know, that's what he wants to do. So if that's what he wants to do, we're going to do everything we can to help him.
Same plan going forward, safety, little third down, maybe wide receiver, and then second part would be just how he's come along 6 games at defensive back. Surprising to you? How well he's played?
You know, the same plan to answer the first part of the question. You know, with where we're at from an injury standpoint at wide receiver with Janarian questionable, Damon Mitchell questionable. You know, if we need Juwan on offense again, he was ready for an emergency, you know, last week that we would still use him. In terms of defensive back, he continues to get better at a lot of things. There's certain things that he's got to continue to get better at because there's certain things, just like playing wide receiver, it just takes a lot of reps to get good at. And a lot of that is just being focused on your key and being able to react instinctively and very quickly to what your key tells you to do. Sometimes he's able to do that. Sometimes he's a little bit slower because it's new. The inability to maybe adjust to new things that come up that he hasn't seen, you know, is a struggle, and that's just with all players, and it just takes a lot of reps. You can't go back to like week 1 and say, hey, remember when this team did this or we had to do that. I mean, those banked reps are not there yet, but I can't say enough about what Juwan's done for our football team in the games that he's been at defensive back. We couldn't even potentially have lined up and given ourselves a chance to be successful if he wouldn't have done what he's done.
And Zach Allen, I think he was emergency as a wide receiver. Is that still the
he
plan
might
for
be
him?
left tackle this week, so we'll see how it goes, you know, from an injury standpoint. But you know, Zach, I get a kid that came in as a grad transfer. You know, things didn't work out quite like he had hoped as a quarterback, and then the injury. You know, he made the commitment to stay this year, not knowing what the season was going to be like for him because he's got a torn ACL right now. Made a decision to not have surgery. Just a selfless individual. Just really like Ross. You're so happy to have him on our football team, and you know, everybody wants to measure an individual's contributions based off the stat sheet from Saturday, but that's not what Zach brings to the table. I mean, he's very high charactered individual. Is great with the younger players. He's great in the quarterback room, and is willing to do anything to help the football team. And you know, you can't have enough guys like that. Thanks, Coach. Yep. Thank you, guys.